Hey, Sherry, according to all the buttons, we are live with Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. Isn't that amazing? Sherry, Terry Ann. Oh, well,
It's
anyway,
it,
I haven't had enough coffee apparently this morning. Oh my gosh, can you believe today is already September 1st?
I
I
know,
cannot
happy
believe it.
September. Meaning,
September 1st.
meaning that we have 22 more days of summer. Do you know that? Do not say that it's after Labor Day. First day of autumn is September 22nd. So we have
All right.
22 more days of summer. So I like to ask everybody what are they doing right with the rest of their summer. But don't be
Oh.
don't be skipping me on my summer. All right, maybe we should introduce ourselves, but I know it's hot and I know everybody's sort of like, "Oh, I'm sick of the heat." But I think we sometimes want to hurry seasons through and we need to go to the pool, the lake, hang out more and enjoy because you know what? I don't want to hear, "Oh, it's too cold," right? Which is what we're going to hear next,
That's what
right?
we're going to be saying soon. I know
As you
everybody's
see,
saying
I'm
it's too
bad. I
hot
have no
now.
jacket on, no suit. I am sweating this morning. So this is what you get. So, because it is summer. But anyway, good morning, and I'm glad to be here. But anyway, I will let you open, Terry Ann.
Okay, well, hey, welcome. Welcome to Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I am Terry Ann Porter, life coach TA. It is time to stop those lies of negative self talk by changing your perspective, which will reveal to you possibilities, opening pathways onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. And my co host, as always, the amazing Sherry Berger.
Good morning. Good morning. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sherry Berger, and I am the owner of Here to There Consulting. And we educate business owners with those tools to balance life, business, and finances so that we can be good growth, have great growth, leadership, and success. Because having balance in our areas of our life is so important so we can move you from here to there. So, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to be here this morning. What are we going to talk about this morning, Terry Ann?
Well, today is our 51st episode, and we are talking about those things that you've been wanting to accomplish and you've been kind of putting them off. What is holding you back from going after your goals, your dreams? Can you think of something right off the top of your head, Sherry, that just first that question just immediately brings to mind?
Well, yeah, I need to lose weight, right? And I always have an excuse. Well, when this happens, when that happens, when, right? And when, right? And for my health, I want to, like, I have no health problems, but I don't want to have health problems. So it's about that's something I keep putting off that I really want to accomplish. So, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying it now on on Conversation Sherry and Terry Ann. That's scary. What's something that there's another thing I was putting off that I'm not now, though.
What's that?
And I was finishing my book, and I'm
How are
working
you
really
doing?
hard to get that done by the end of the year. So, yeah, I've been
Wonderful.
working on that, and my goal is one chapter a week, and I've been not letting excuses get in that way. So, is it funny that you can have things that you want to accomplish, but some things you might say, yeah, but first I gotta da da da. And other things you finally go,
Mm-hmm.
that's enough. That's enough. I just need to get it done. So, what are some things in your life right now, Terry Ann?
Well, just before I tell you about the things in my life, I'm going to ask our audience if you would like to share with us. Comment in the comments below, and join. That is how you can join in the conversation through the comments section. What have I been putting up? Well, weight is definitely one thing. It seems like the more I want it, the more weight I gain, and it is a struggle. It is a struggle. I did lose an awful lot. One medication and it came back so fast. And so I'm saying, what do I do? So I use the health as an excuse and the medications as an excuse. But now I do wonder, is this an excuse or is it actual? Yeah, I got to stop and think. Maybe I have to work a little harder than I have been.
So, is that something you want to accomplish that you're not?
That is something I'm really working with hard right now to change my perspective so that I can approach it differently than I have been in the past. So I'm working on that. Things that I have put off was just trying to start a business of a life coach. Okay, yeah, well, I took the class, but I understand. I've done the training and I've done the internship and I've done all this, but I'm who wants me? I'm scared. Fear. I think fear is the biggest thing that holds me back. Fear and self-confidence. Because the first thing I can think of is, yeah, I know it, but am I really good enough at it? And I could talk myself out of it. So
Yep.
fear and self-confidence are my biggest defeaters. I don't know what word to use, but defeaters sounds like a good one.
Yeah. And I think, like Pam just said, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't happen. So
Yes.
I just am overcoming plantar fasciitis. If anybody's had that, I've had a very bad case of it. So I was going to physical therapy a couple times a week. And I decided I'm going to physical therapy a couple times a week. And now I'm not in physical therapy. And I had scheduled times for that. So I've kept that right on my calendar to exercise, because now those are scheduled times. Why? Because I so-called graduate physical therapy or whatever it is. Why did I not leave it on my calendar? So that's what I've done. Hey, Terry Ann, we have a Facebook user that we can't see who it is, and they're talking about Whole30, and I'd love to communicate with them. Can you explain to them how StreamYard and Facebook don't play well together?
We are using a platform to broadcast this called StreamYard. Now, Facebook wants to make sure that you really want StreamYard to know who you are. They want to kind of guard your privacy, make sure they can play together. So what you can do is in another tab, don't close this down, stay here with us, just open up another tab real quickly, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. You'll also see that printed at the top of our screen. Go there and it will ask, is it okay if we give your name? And all you need to do is say yes. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can do that as well. Entirely up to you. Yes, overscheduling and keeping personal time. I think I do this a lot. And I think we have to put our personal time on our calendar.
Mm-hmm.
If we put on the calendar, if I have on my calendar that I have an appointment with you, Sherry, I'm going to honor that. It's on my calendar. It's a commitment to you. So I need to put on my calendar time to do this. It's a commitment to me. I'm just as important.
And I think that's hard, right? That sometimes we have a hard time with that, with time blocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like to always use that analogy of if we do the marbles, like I put my kids that will get in trouble, they're young adults, because they need to have coffee or lunch with me. So they need to be on my calendar. My husband's on my calendar. Bible study or meditation or prayer needs to be on my calendar. Working out needs to be on my calendar. What is it called? We also have our non-negotiables, right? To be on our calendar. Like, I don't know about you, but I go to church every Sunday. That's a non-negotiable. So some of those, maybe they're not really on your calendar, but you know they are. But I have a question. Why is like working out or eating right not on your calendar, right? I have a friend that literally schedules when she's going to go make her meals so that she eats right. And they're on her calendar. And guess what? She's very healthy because she makes that important. So I love to use that analogy. You've heard the analogy before. If we put all our marbles in, the real important things like family, your spirituality, your health, your personal growth, the things that you need to be successful. Mm-hmm. And then you add the gravel, and then you add your extra, right, things in there. So I don't know about you, Terry, and I found myself before being a yes person, and I'm talking over yesing because this is a good cause. I want to help with the school auction. Yeah, I want to help with the church this. Yes, I think that we should walk for, whatever cause. I think we should do all these things. Yeah, but you know what? I'm one person. Just because I believe in all these causes or volunteer stuff
Right.
or whatever it is, Toastmasters, right? You and I love Toastmasters, right? I mean, we just love Toastmasters. But I can't do everything for Toastmasters and have no time for church or no time for my business. And so it's about life work balance, like Pam was saying. But more importantly, make sure you get your marbles in, because in 10 years, my relationship with my kids are going to matter to me. In 10 years, my relationship with my spouse is going to matter to me. In 10 years, my relationship with God is going to be, and yeah, I need my business to be where it needs to be in 10 years. I get that. But what are your main core values? So anyway, that's sometimes I think an excuse for not accomplishing what we want to accomplish, because we say, I don't have the time. Do you not have the time, or is it just not one of your top priorities right now?
Right.
So,
yeah, that learning when to say yes and when to say no. A hard lesson for me to learn was that saying no to an opportunity was not putting them down. And a lot of times, some people would do that guilt trip. Oh, well, if you really cared and all that stuff. But learning to say no, that no means because it doesn't work for me right now. Because if I say yes to that, I have to say no to something else. So why don't I put self-care on the calendar? Because in my mind, oh, no, working is more important.
But you know the analogy, and I know it, and I'm sure all of our audience knows, where we're told to put our air mask on before we put others on, right? Like on the plane, even if you have a small child, they tell you to put your air mask on so that you can help the small child. But as a mom, I don't know about you, what do you want to do? You want to put the air mask on that child first. But that's not the protocol, because that's not the most benefit for the child. And when you say that, right, family members, people are watching you. If you are taking care of your health, which is actually a temple of God, right, is your body. So if we're not taking self-care, and I think us women, and I know guys do too, so I'm not trying to, but us women being nurturers, we take care of everybody else and we put us at the bottom. Because, that's the hero mom thing to do. And it's really not. It's the opposite. Would you say we had to change our perspective in our mindset about that? So just like you have important clients, Terry Ann, that need you, and your business matters, but your health matters so that you can do those things. So I don't know what other people's view on that are, but we would love to hear about that.
How do you get over the fear of something? Because I know fear is a big thing to hold a lot of people back. I'm afraid of, and then, the list is a mile long of the things that you're afraid of. If I do this, if I accomplish this, if I even consider it, how do you get beyond the fear factor?
So I love people. I'm an extrovert. I can talk to anybody. I've never met a stranger more than 5 minutes. I know you're shocked when I just described Sherry Berger like that. But I, 15 years ago, was scared to death to get in front of other people. So they would say, get up, Sherry, and announce about the church auction. Sherry, and I belonged to the same church for 17 years or 18 years, something silly. And I could not get up there and speak because I was scared. So I decided, and I still think we do this, I was scared to public speak. So everybody, when I joined Toastmasters 15 years ago, we're like, oh my gosh, you're an overcomer. You're an overachiever, because I, every 4 weeks, was giving a speech. You know why I was doing it? Because I was scared. So if you're scared, I say, jump out of the plane. You keep jumping out of the plane, right? I think you were a little apprehensive when we started conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I don't know about
what
you.
Apprehensive. I was downright scared. I was terrified.
I don't like videos of myself. I don't like pictures of myself. I don't like, oh, wait, are you being self-centered? Because you got a message and you need to go out there and get that message. So yeah, the more you do it and you jump out of the plane and you do it scared, the more you we'll just do it. Because, I mean, have you died from doing conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Same with public speaking. Were you scared of public speaking when you did it?
No.
How many?
No,
Oh, see?
never scared of public speaking.
See, and some people's biggest fear, one of their biggest fears is public speaking. And I think if we don't know what to expect, then we're scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see that when people even die, which I hate to talk about that, but that's one thing people are really, really scared about. But if they know what's gonna, that's why we have hospice or whatever to guide them through. But I mean, we sometimes just have to walk by faith, like Pam just said. That's too funny because I was literally going to say walk by faith. And I was wondering where our walk by faith cups were right now. But walk by faith in yourself and your higher power. Yes, in yourself, in God, and not to fear. And do you know how many times God says in the Bible, do not fear?
I'm told that it's 365 times.
I'm not telling you to go run in the middle of I-35. If you don't live in Kansas City, I'm sorry. That's our big highway out here. But I'm not saying go run out in the middle of the street and be stupid, right? Get ran over. And I'm not saying do something that you're not totally equipped to do. But there was a couple times, just to be honest with you, with conversations and Sherry and Terry Ann, we wouldn't have it all figured out, would we, Terry Ann?
Just a couple.
And I would say, it's fine. We're just going to do it. And then you'd go, yeah, but we need to know. And I go, yeah, I know. But we know enough, right? That we just need to do it. Because those could have became roadblocks. And sometimes we couldn't get all the stuff aired out, right? And we did our first ever e-summit ever. And oh my gosh, I am so lucky that I had my Zoom master, my technical expert, Terry Ann, beside me along it all. But we didn't know exactly how to do the e-summit. And there were still some technical problems. And I had the best tech person in the world. I don't know. I think the Zoom link was the problem, which is not even technical. It was Zoom. But the point is, how much did you learn doing that? And did we die by doing our first summit ever? I don't know about you. I'm still standing here.
We learned a lot in stepping out and doing it. And sometimes, how do you learn the best? How do you learn the best? You step out and you do it.
And I don't really like all the videos of some of the things I did on the e-summit. I mean, it wasn't anything real bad. I'm going to make everybody think but that was me watching me, right? But I still got my message out. Now, if you ask Terry Ann's perspective, she's going to go, you did a pretty good. I mean, that's what I got from Terry Ann that she told me. But there was times I was like, oh, I think I was looking away. I was looking down. I wasn't looking at the camera the way I wanted to. I made maybe this face, or I did that, or I did. Wait a minute. I did it. Right? Terry Ann, I don't know if you felt that way about some of the stuff on the summit, that you could have done this better. You could have done. Right?
Hindsight is what they say. Hindsight is always 20/20. You can always look back and find ways to improve.
There's even been times that we went live, and then of course we talk about after this, and we're like, well, you think we could have done ABC better, or my camera was not even working, or my mic wasn't even working, and the other person goes, and nobody knew, right? So it's sometimes we worry about things, and they might happen, but they don't even ruin the event. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So we worry about things that might happen, but we have a backup plan. I mean, we had a couple glitches in our summit, our first summit. I don't want to talk a lot about it, but I'm saying, but luckily I had a great team when I put my summit together. And that's what we should do when you're scared to do something and you want to do a good job. Get experts, have a team. And you know what? My team was already covering me, and they were already going to change the agenda a little bit without me even maybe knowing if that's what we had to do. But you have to trust your team too, right? So I had a team of experts, I had people I could trust, and I knew they had my backside, and I knew they were going to do what was going to be best for the summit. Okay, so when you're going to do something, get a team that's going to support you. Get those accountabilities, get coaches, get people, right? Get people that are going to help you. And what do we always call them in Toastmasters? We always call it not what kind of feedback. It's just called feedback. Huh?
The evaluation?
Yeah, when we do evaluations of any kind.
We do encouraging evaluations and feedback.
But we always do it in sandwich form, right?
Yes. Okay,
We
that's
always
the
do.
word. Okay.
You're great, Terry Ann. Here's what I could have seen you doing a little better. And then, oh my gosh, can't wait to hear you again. We do something to that effect, but it's also authentic. It's not just making
Sure.
stuff up, right? So what we say is really authentic. But I'm saying to have those kind of supporters with whatever you are, you're scared. And you know what a lot of people are scared of right now, Terry Ann?
What's that?
Going online.
Oh, yeah.
We're not the only ones. And we are still in a pandemic. Can you believe it? And who knows how long this is going to go. So business owners have to go online. Even if things do go wrong, stay focused on the things that you have control and learn to improve yourself. But
learn from everything. Yeah.
Do you know that failure is a good thing? And sometimes we don't look at it as a good thing because you're learning. It's not failure, it's a learning opportunity. And who came up with the airplanes, right? The Wright brothers. And the first time they ever built an airplane, it just went like that and we took off and we were in another country, right? No.
I think if I remember right, they were able to stay up for like 12 seconds at first.
So
you imagine how long a trip, just a trip across the street is going to take?
So they just kept crashing and burning. Mm-hmm. They kept crashing and burning, but they weren't crashing and burning. They were learning, right? They were like, oh, now we need to improve this so that we can go this way. Now we need to improve that. My husband was cracking me up because he can't even fix a computer if his life depended on it, right? But he can build anything and he can fix cars. But he goes, well, cars and computers are similar. You just got to keep troubleshooting what the problems are. Which is too funny because that's what my friend Gerald and I told him one day, was that cars and computers are the same. But they are. But let me see. How are everybody almost has to troubleshoot a computer nowadays, unless you are my husband. But anyway, my point is, how are whatever obstacles in your way, they're troubleshooting. So yeah, you have a problem. What's the solution? Is it scared, then overcome, right?
Now, sometimes I think back, you were telling me earlier about grandbaby Simon, 5 months old right now. And I was thinking back do you remember when we watched our kids learn to walk?
Mm-hmm.
They would struggle. But they didn't just, the first time they stood up and fell flat back on their bottoms, we didn't say, okay, that's it, give it up. You're never going to walk. We didn't do that. We encouraged them. We let them try it again. They would try it again and they would fall again until they were up there. And then they were unsteady and slowly got better, and then learned to skip, and then learned to run. It doesn't happen over. Why do we accept this in our little ones? And we encourage our little ones. But what happens when we get older that we say, oh, no. If I can't do this and do this perfect the first time, I can't do it at all. Remember the first time that your little one saw a butterfly or something and the awe and wonder. Where do we lose that awe and wonder in our life? How do we bring it back?
It's too funny that you brought up my little grandson, Simon, because I got to tell you, he's 5 months old. And you know what he wants to do? He wants to walk. He does not understand why he needs to crawl. And he's 5 months. So we're showing him that he can crawl, and we're giving him, and we're still letting him try to walk too, right? Because you're not going to discourage him. But how many times do we think we can just, what'd you just say? Just go run. But maybe we need to crawl first and then walk. And then was it skip or run that comes next? I don't know, Terry Ann, but I bet you there's actually a protocol there. I think it's running and then skipping because it's about balance, right? So it's about going through those, what do you want to call them? Developmental stages to get where you're at. Now, when we skip crawling, we actually lack. And some babies skip crawling and they do fine. But I'm still saying it's better if they would crawl before they walked. So I thought it was really funny when you came with that analogy, because that's what we're struggling with Simon right now, is that but if you give him what is it called? You encourage him, you help him push his foot off on his palms, and you show him that he can get an object if he just does 1-2 crawl. So he'll do his 1-2 crawl because he wants that object.
Right.
So how about if you did your 1-2 crawl because you wanted an object, right? Versus trying to run or walk, right? And I do love what Pam just said. Thomas Einstein and the light bulb quote. See, I
Thomas
wanted
Edison. I didn't fail. I learned 10,000 ways.
Yeah.
How not to make a light bulb. And that's what it is. I've been doing Zoom now in international conferences for probably 5-6 years now. I was on a call with someone last night and I learned something. I never leave a Zoom call without learning something about the program, the setup, whatever. I learned a lot of it by, well, what happens if I click that button? Whoops. Okay, let's not do that again. Sometimes you have to make the mistake. And sometimes, I think it's interesting to know, it has to be your mistake. I remember when my daughter was a teenager, we were talking about somebody, and I was saying, look what happened when this person did that. And her response was, okay, Mom, that's fine, but I've got to learn from my own mistakes. Okay. If you're willing to accept the consequences, then, which she was. So it's okay. I'm not going to learn if I don't make the mistake. Okay. I'll go for that. So that's how we finished out the teen years. Oh, that was a learning experience, Mom.
So most things that we're afraid to do, that we want to accomplish, but maybe fear is holding us back, we're not going to die from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we do 1-2 crawl and we get that far, that's good. What did Pam say now?
I was told a long time ago, the reasons babies don't speak is that they're so close to God. They would release the secrets of heaven. They have to adapt to their environment until they can speak on their own level. Have faith of a child, open-minded. Adaptation is the key to learning. That's why I keep teddy bears around, to remind me, childlike.
That's why I keep Mickey Mouse around, because I loved him as a child since I was 3. And I really think sometimes we need to go back to, what'd you say? Things that made us happy when we were a child. Mm-hmm. And to look at life as a child. Oh my gosh. And having a grandson you were talking about is so much fun. Whenever mm-hmm. he's crying, we just take him outside and he is in awe, like you said. So why can't we be in awe of the new challenges that we have mm-hmm. and things that we want to accomplish and where we want to grow next? And we can go ahead and crawl, maybe even scooch a little to get that little tiny toy or whatever it is, right? Shiny object. Don't chase a bunch of shiny objects, but you get the idea. Before we can walk, before we can run, before we can skip. So mm-hmm. that's my final thing, is go figure out, what have you been wanting to accomplish and what's holding you back.
And I think that once you realize and verbalize what is holding you back, then you're more likely to face it.
And like I said, find that team, that support, or what do you need to move you from here to there? Ha, ha, ha. But yeah, what do you really need, right, to get where you want to be? All right, guys. Well, what are we going to talk about next week?
We're going to celebrate accomplishments next week. And there's one particular comment that we're really wanting to celebrate.
Oh, wow. We're going to celebrate next week? Oh,
It'll
my
be
gosh.
Our 52nd. It's
going to be our 1-year anniversary of Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. Come join us as we celebrate that big accomplishment. Guys, I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, guys.